In this video, I buy a Range Rover. I get into trouble for buying a Range Rover. Hey babes, I bought a Range Rover.
You better not have.
And I crash a Range Rover. Now obviously, I didn't buy a real Range Rover. There are many reasons why I wouldn't buy a real Range Rover. First of all, they're expensive. And secondly, they're really flash and brash, and I'm a quiet, shy kind of guy. So I didn't buy a real Range Rover, I bought this Range Rover. I've seen them kicking around now online on various YouTube channels for a couple of months now, and I thought, I'll see if I can get a hold of one. Now obviously, I wasn't going to pay the full price. I think they were selling for initially £60 or $70, which is way too expensive for a toy, right? Anyway, I thought, if one comes down cheap enough, I'll get a hold of it. And this one was very cheap. I'm not going to tell you how cheap it was until the end of the video, but for what I paid for it, it's a lot of toy, because that's what it is. So you've heard this mentioned many times in other videos, probably. Toy grade RC and hobby grade RC vehicles. And you're thinking, surely they're the same. You know, I've bought a radio controlled vehicle, surely they're all made the same way. No. Toy grade RC vehicles are specifically built for children. Hobby grade RC cars are specifically built for children with a mortgage and kids and responsibilities and more money sometimes.
Let me give you a more scientific, realistic way of telling the difference, or knowing the difference between hobby grade and toy grade. So over here we have my beautiful TRX4 Defender. That is a hobby grade RC vehicle. And over here is the new Range Rover I bought, which is a toy RC car. One thing you can look at is if you can actually get the vehicle out of its packaging and turn it upside down. If any of the cars you're looking at has one of those, it's 100% toy grade, 100%. That's your steering trim. No hobby grade RC ever possessed one of those things. The other thing you'll have heard people mention is proportional steering and proportional throttle. What does that mean? Well, here's the toy grade Range Rover, but that's its controller. I tell you what, it's got a cool controller. Look at that. Looks like a Power Ranger's leg. So, the proportionate part, steering. Now, normally steering in a car, you steer a little bit and you get a little bit of steering. But on this one, if I steer a little bit, still nothing. It switches on full lock and makes a noise like a dentist's drill. Throttle's the same. Oh, by the way, this is not four-wheel drive, it's just rear-wheel drive. So same thing again. Don't know if you can see that throttle. There you go. So a little bit of throttle, a little bit. It's on. And then it's off. Now, I know loads of people who drive that way, but it's not good when you're driving an RC vehicle. So here's your hobby grade RC, same thing. A little tiny bit of steering, and there we go. Look at the control on that. Super control. By the way, this TRX4 is running stock electronics. There's nothing fancy in there. So proportionate throttle, same thing again. A little bit of throttle, and it's so important when you're working with a crawler that you've got this. So a little bit of throttle, bit more. So that's what it means when you talk about proportional control, which you don't get in a toy grade RC.
Yeah, so toy grade, RC grade, why does that matter? But look at it, it's gorgeous. If you were a young lad, a young boy, and you received this, you'd be delighted. Look at the size of it. It looks like a Range Rover. It's got lights. It's got a Power Ranger's leg for a controller. It's all there. What does it matter? Well, it matters quite a lot when you drive it for the first time. Oh, did I tell you how much I paid for this? I'll tell you at the end of the video. That's called a hook. It keeps you watching the video for longer and helps with the algorithm. It's all about the algorithm. It may seem at points during this video like I'm slagging this car off, but I'm not. I'm just trying to point out that if you're looking for something to use out on the trails, you've maybe watched other videos, you see one of these things pop up at a certain price and you think, that's the one for me, and you take it out and it's toy grade, at least you've watched this video and you've had a warning. Did I tell you how much I paid for it? I'll tell you at the end of the video. So now I have to go and drive it, and normally I would take it out into the forest and give it a run, but there's a couple of reasons why I'm not doing that. First of all, there is no way I'm turning up to my usual trails with this in the back of the van, and the second one is most of the forests at the moment, thanks to some pretty hefty storms recently, you can't get into because there's fallen trees and things. So I'm sorry, we'll have to make do with a bit of backyard action. Anyway, here it is. So as you can see, with driving it, it's a bit of a handful. The throttle is on and off, steering is on and off, no suspension travel, all things you'd expect. But as I said, it's still a really cool thing to own, and for the price I paid for it, which I'm not telling you yet. So what's next for my 1/10 scale Range Rover Sport? I mean, I could leave it just as it is, it looks kind of pretty, or thanks to the wheelbase being suitable for a lot of decent chassis, I can tear it apart, put it on a new chassis, make it more capable. But what do you think? Should I leave it as it is? Should I completely change it and make it a bit more capable off-road? Comment below and let me know what you think I should do. If you'd like me to put fireworks in it and blow it up, then we'll do that as well. That's probably going to be the most popular option, thinking about it. That's going to be coming up in a future video. I'm going to tear it apart, see what's inside. I'd love to keep the interior because that's kind of cool, a little bit glossy, but you expect that with toy grade stuff. Nearly forgot to tell you how much I paid for this. You will see it retailing for around about £60, $70. I paid, I should say, I'll tell you in the next video and then you'll all subscribe, but no, I paid £30, so $35 for this car. So, like I said, really can't complain about what it is and what it does. Check out one of these videos for more of my stuff.